Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 5, Episode 10, Preaching to the Liar. And we're going to go ahead and get into it real quick. It was a very heavy episode, but there also wasn't a lot happening at the same time. So we're just going to go in and jump into it and talk about it in the comments. If you're new here and you enjoyed the video at the end, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. It helps me with the algorithm and I'm trying to grow my channel. I want to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. If you've been here before and you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe, help your girl out. You know, we do this every week. All right, so we pick up where we left off at the peace party at Stormy's house. And I wrote these notes last night. I was half asleep. I was coming from being outside. So let me put my glasses on so I can see. Destiny wasn't accepting the fact that Melody spoke at her event. We know Melody did speak, but it was like a low whisper. But whatever, I digress. So Melody said, look, she's fine where they are in their friendship. She's fine with it. Like, she doesn't want to reconcile or anything. There's no need to rehash it. She said, like, people can just see each other and be cordial. Like, they don't always have to be friends, because Stormy was pushing, like, well, are y'all good? Are y'all friends? And I was agreeing with what Melody was saying. Like, we can speak and it don't have to be no issues when we see each other, but we don't have to be friends. It is hard to see that the friendship is most definitely over, because people act like, oh, friendships are just as important as intimate romantic relationships, partnerships, family relationships. It is a relationship, so it is important and it does hurt, and I see it's hurting Destiny. So the ladies told Stormy she did a good job. I mean, it looked really nice, but as far as like what her goal was, which was to like settle everything and everybody be able to get paid, I mean, nothing really got, I guess since when Melody made that speech, something did get accomplished. But I feel like, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while now, so we didn't really have to do this. But Stormy has some good product placement. She says she's going to give them a gift as they leave. It's some of her hair care products. Y'all know I went to Target and bought me some. The oil I got, it's really thick. So I'm still giving it some time to see if it'll work. It's only been a few weeks. So as they're leaving, Melody and Kimmi happen to be outside in a parking lot at the same time. And Melody's like, you know what's going on? I'm not used to seeing you crying. Like, you were tearing up. She's trying to get her to talk about it. Kimmy's like, I'm still not ready to share. And so they hug it out. Yeah, let's not press her too much. When she's ready, she'll share. But it was good to see that Melody was there for her. We don't really see them interacting all that much. So, you know, I wasn't sure if they were still friends or not. It seems like Melody, y'all are co-workers, but y'all ain't her friends. So we move on to see Marcel and Tisha. And Marcel's planning a date night indoors in the house. Do I feel like indoors is really like a date, or is it just like we're just in the house? You can have a date night indoors, but I feel like this didn't feel like a date to me. This was just a scene for y'all to talk. Y'all could have just been at the table eating and just sat down to talk. Like, I mean, Tisha looked nice in her pretty pink dress, but you know, y'all had a charcuterie board and some chocolate wine. That chocolate wine sounds disgusting. I'm sorry. I like Twix and Snickers, but I am not like a huge like chocolate lover, and I don't want my wine tasting like chocolate. But, you know, more power to them. I'm glad people are buying the products, support a black business, okay? Anyway, so they're having their little picnic inside the house. And Marcel said, look, the kids are out of the house. I'm not sure where they are. That's Tisha's department. He just better be joking. I don't care if Tisha's like, you know, one that runs the household and takes care of the kids, which she complained about in season 1 heavily, and you don't know where your kids are. Come on now. Do better. Do better. So Tisha is asking, like, where's all this coming from? Because y'all had to film a scene. That's where it's coming from. Clearly, she's not used to him doing nice gestures, even though he said in his confessional he's romantic. Her husband, not mine. Let me mind my business. So Marcel was saying, you know, he wants to be a better husband. It's nice to see him put forth effort and try. I can appreciate that. It's a long time coming, and I'm glad it's happening. Tisha mentions the couples retreat, and she's like, "Did Dr. Francis and the couples retreat have anything to do with this?" And I'm like, "The couples retreat? Yeah, I can like y'all just want to like when? What's the order of the filming? Because we did the couples retreat a little while ago. So why are we bringing this up like we just came from it or something? Like, why would the couples retreat have anything to do with this?" So Marcel feels like, Dr. Francis was jumping all over Lewis. And I'm like, what? When you were there, you were happy that the Whitlows was getting some. They was all in everybody else's business. Now you and Lou, Big Lou, y'all friends now. So now Dr. Francis was jumping all over him. Please, he was giving it to them fair and square. He was even. He got on Tiffany, in my opinion, more than he got on Lewis. So that's not true. Dr. Francis is not biased in my opinion, but Marcel feels like he's biased and he's, sides with the women and he got something against men. He's a man. I don't think that's the case. Like, I think he's just trying to bring it to your attention. He's speaking up for the people whose voices aren't being heard, aka Tisha. But he don't want to go to Dr. Francis. He wants to find a new therapist. So then Tisha's like, well, what would you want to see in a therapist? He don't want to see a therapist. He doesn't want to see a therapist at the end of the day. That's what he wants. He don't want to see one, period. You sneak off and go keep seeing Dr. Francis on your own, Tisha. So Tisha mentions having a period party for their daughters. One of their daughters is 10. And, it's just getting to that stage where the menstrual cycle is going to hit. And so they're talking about that. And I'm like, is this a date night? I know we got to have a scene and talk about stuff, but why are we talking about not going to therapy with Dr. Francis? And this is not romantic at all. Period parties. Y'all couldn't we shouldn't have incorporated this in a so-called date. Like, this is inappropriate. Like, now nothing romantic is about to happen because we're talking about periods. Like, I'm glad that they are talking about it. Marcel is super old school. He don't want to hear about it. He feels like that's her lane. Honestly, truth be told, my dad, he probably won't even remember, but I remember when I was young, I came to him, he picked me up from school, and I asked him what a period was, and he briefly told me. He was like, he wanted my mom to be the one to feel like she was the first person to tell me, and she did. We were watching TV and it kind of got mentioned years later. But at that point, I was older. I'm like, girl, I done already heard about it from friends at school and everything else. You late to the party. So I was glad that he did tell me when I was young. I was about 6 or 7, something like that. So my dad was the one who told me first, not in great detail, but, to his best ability. And so I feel like mothers or fathers, if you have daughters, you need to be able to have these conversations with your children. Same thing when it's a son and he's going through puberty. You have to be able to speak to some things to the best of your ability. You can't just be like, not my lane. I'm not a man. I'm not talking about it. If your child comes to you with questions, you have to try to be able to answer them or find the answer or something. But that's just my opinion. So Kimmi and Maurice are driving. The scene was very long, but it was sad. It was long, and it felt like, they were kind of just saying the same thing over and over. So I wasn't sure why the scene was just so lengthy. But they were talking about her health, and her getting her biopsy and how long it may take to get the results. So, Kimmi was so cute. She was like, oh, I accidentally have on my dog walking shoes. And I was like, oh my gosh. Especially because, we pretty much know the outcome. So, yeah. It just, made it harder on us because the scene was so lengthy. So, Melody stops by Destiny's photo shoot for her single that we haven't heard on the radio. Have y'all heard it? If y'all in them Huntsville streets, did they play it there? Because I haven't heard this single anywhere. A photo shoot. She should have been doing a photo shoot for the beauty supply store to keep it open. But okay, because I know at one point Melody was saying, or maybe after filming, she was like, I'm not going to have my music on there if y'all going to be letting Destiny solicit and advertise her business too, or something like that. The streets be talking. I don't really keep up with Love and Marriage Huntsville too much outside the show. But it's nice that Melody is sticking with it. Let's not take away anybody's dreams. But the single, her or Melody's, I don't really listen to it. If y'all do, let me know if it's good. I probably won't listen to it, but I'm gonna take y'all word for it. So Melody claims, well, she showed footage. She said that she had made a video to support the single. And it was prior to the Madani reopening, the grand reopening. And once that reopening happened and they got into it, she decided not to post it. And it's like, if you have recorded it before, when you record, normally if I record something, I'm gonna go ahead and post it. Like, why did you record it, hold on to it, and then was like, oh, never mind? Like, that didn't even make, she was better off not even saying it. Like, I was gonna support you, but then, I held on to it and we got into it. Girl, the single been out for how long? When you made the video, you should have posted it. If you want to support her, then support her. Otherwise, this ain't no support, and it wasn't even worth mentioning. It just kind of made her look silly. So, Destiny was, there was still like, because they were really laughing and joking, and it just gave us like the feels of when they used to be friends. It was really nice to see. And I'm like, what y'all was arguing about? Like, was it serious enough to really end the friendship? Like, did we have to end the friendship because of this? Y'all couldn't try to fix it, but so much time done passed. We so far gone now. It is what it is. So they get to talking, and then there's still a little tension on Destiny's side. I can see they're talking about, I forgot exactly what was said. Now it just slipped my mind. But basically, they're pointing a finger at each other and placing blame on each other. And you said this, well, you said that, and you called me this, and you called me that, and I tried to call you, you didn't answer the phone. And it's just like, I am tired. How are we going to come back? I said this so many times before, so forgive me, but I want to know, how are we going to come back next season? What are we going to be talking about? It probably would have been better had they just became friends again. We'd rather see them as friends than enemies, or just being cordial. So, Melody was like, look, she want to move forward without the tension. Destiny was like, you love me, don't you? And I can just tell Destiny just misses the friendship so much. Melody admits she does love her, but the friendship was in the past. And that's where it will remain. I said, ooh, Melody is standing firm on it, honey. Don't let her tell you she don't want to be your friend more than once. Just accept it. Destiny goes into a spiel about how they could have been Thelma and Louise, blah, blah, blah. And she just want her friend back. Ooh, it's giving Music Soul Child. I just want my friend back. But Melody was like, look, we can be cordial. That's it. That's all. I mean, I can film in the same room as you, and that's where it starts and stops. Okay. But it was nice to see that they had one last moment. It was on TV. They can watch it and reminisce. So we're at the period party for the young girls. The ladies there are discussing hormones and, watching what you eat and discussing free programs. There's a free program to give out products for the young ladies so they can have their feminine products for their menstrual cycle and whatnot. And it's ridiculous that we have to even purchase these things. I mean, it's ridiculous. Some places, some employees will have it for free for the ladies. Some schools will have it. Sometimes you got to have some change and buy it. And it's just a lot. Like, it shouldn't even be. It should just be free. But, it's all about the money. So, Maurice shows up. And Tisha's like, no guys allowed. And she's joking. And she's like, did something happen with Marcel? Like, why is he here? So they go outside. And we see that Kimmi's outside, and she's like, I wanted to try to tell you and Marcel together. We can't catch y'all. We tried to call, didn't get no answer, whatever. So, she's telling her about the cancer and how she found the lumps, and she tells her that she does have cancer. And it made me tear up a little bit. It did. It was really sad and touching. I know y'all was jumping on Tisha saying she was trying to muster up tears. At first it was giving like, I don't think she was trying to muster up tears. I think she was trying to like hold back the tears because, a second later the tears are flowing. So I think she was genuinely upset. It was sad. So Kimmi was still trying to be strong. She said in her confessional that on June 22nd, 2022, she got her results. It was stage 2 cancer. And I like how she has the dates because last episode, it was like, on June 14th, I found the lump. On June 22nd, I got the results. So it's like as she's going, it's like a diary almost that she can go back and look to, like this say this date this happened, this date that happened, to go, walk us through her process. So then when it's over and she's cancer free, then she can be like, look, on this date I'm cancer free. And it's just, we can watch the journey, because this happens so often with people, with women, and it definitely needs to be discussed. um also like that, I'm seeing, one of the women, the mentors or whoever was doing the period party, she had a low cut. And I struggle with something called PCOS. If you're familiar with it, it affects women's hormones, things of that nature. My hair was really falling out. I had to cut it off, and I've been insecure about it. So I love to see more and more women rocking the low cut, because it gives confidence out here. And it's just one of those things that you start to think about other types of cancer, because we always talk about breast cancer, but the ovarian cancer and all types of things, cervical cancer. There's just so many things that affect women with these hormones that we're put in our bodies, and different foods we eat, birth controls, etc. We really got to, it's in everything, soaps we use. It's just, it's so hard. It's so hard to just like live and just be without having to have this fear in the back of your mind. But I'm glad we're talking about it. It needs to be discussed. Some people don't want to hear it. I don't know why. We need to make people aware. It gives people comfort so they know they're not alone. For those that are going through it, feel like you don't really feel like anybody understands something at times, unless you're talking to somebody who's experienced it as well. Like, she's not just having a scare. She's going through it. And so it's good to hear that and to watch it and to see it. And I love how strong Kimmi's being. She's a fan fave for a reason. So, Kimmi brought a little pouch for Tisha's daughter where she can put her pads in. They were giving it out before, and she put a few pads in there. And Tisha was like still thinking about somebody else, and it was really cute. And she's like, I put some little pads in there for her, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't wait to see her come out on the other side and have a testimony when this is all done and over with. We're going to keep praying for you, Kimmi. Let me know what y'all thinking down in the comments. Check out my other content. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.